go. Ladies and gentlemen, what is up? Welcome to tonight's stream. Hope everybody's doing great tonight. Let's see who gets first in chat. And while we wait on that, we'll head on over, pull up comments on my end. It's going to be a good one tonight. It's going to be, I already dropped my phone on the floor. It's going to be a good one tonight. I can feel it. I can feel it. Let's get comments pulled up. See who's going to grab that first in chat. It's going to be Style Alert. What's up, Style Alert? Welcome. Mike, what's up, dude? Tonight we're going to be talking about you need to prove this to yourself. You need to prove this to yourself, and I do not say that lightly. First, yes, you got first. You got first indeed. Sanchez, what's up, dude? I know we've been trying to connect, but both of us are a little bit busy. I think you said you were remodeling as well, so we're both kind of in the midst of that. We'll connect eventually. Edward, what's up, dude? Welcome. Sky, aka Old Mate. I'll try to stop calling you that because I know you're trying to go by this new name. So Sky, what's up, dude? Welcome to the stream. Might take me a minute to adjust, but welcome. It's gonna be a good one tonight, guys. So we've been doing a lot of morning streams here recently. To be honest with you, the main reason that is because I was always crashing out like really early afternoon here recently. But tonight I'm actually up. At what time is it? At about 9 p.m. So we can do one of our night streams. So that's exciting. Wow, got a live stream. Make it a great one, Wonder Bro. I will try my best, Riley. Hopefully you are not disappointed. Welcome. Hola, hello, welcome. What's up, man? What's up, Dominion? All right, guys. Chat's already filling up, dude, as it normally does with our night streams. We might as well go ahead and kick this party off. So tonight we're going to be talking about you need, in all caps, you need to prove, in all caps, this to yourself. Now, what are we talking about? You guys know me. I don't like to forget my words, so I've got it written down here. What is it that you need to prove to yourself during anxiety recovery more than anything else? I'm going to tell you, and then we're going to elaborate a little bit. Being with, this is what I've got wrote down here, being with intense feelings. I'm talking high anxiety, panic, near panic, being with intense feelings and thoughts. I'm talking about all those intrusive negative thoughts, boom, boom, boom. They just hit you over and over. But staying out of worry will lead to peace. This is massive. You need to prove to yourself that if you sit with, and by that I just mean be with, high levels of anxiety, intense anxiety, panic, near panic, intense intrusive thoughts, you need to prove to yourself that if you sit with these things, right, these thoughts, these feelings, without getting into worry over them, it will lead to peace. Here's the reason that's so important. If you never, ever prove that to yourself, every time you experience high anxiety, panic, near panic, intense, intrusive, negative thoughts, every time you experience these things, you're going to go for the door. You're going to go for some sort of coping method, some sort of compulsion. You're going to just barely escape. And if you spend the rest of your recovery just barely escaping, you're going to stay in fear, right? That's the best way to put it. You're going to stay in fear. You're going to stay in fear of anxiety. You're going to stay in fear of your intrusive thoughts because the last time you had high anxiety or panic or a ton of negative intrusive thoughts, you convinced yourself that you barely just made it, right? So it's crucial, absolutely crucial, that we get some experience points under your belt here. It is absolutely crucial that you eventually prove to yourself that if you're with these high, intense anxiety feelings, symptoms, negative intrusive thoughts, panic, you must prove to yourself that if you are with these things, but don't go the worry route, just stay quiet, right? That's what we called it the other day, that it will lead to peace. It will lead to peace. Now, I'm not saying you're going to be cured of sensitization once you figure this out, once you prove this to yourself. But what I am saying by it will lead to peace is that it will lead to you eventually getting the idea of what we're talking about here, right? You can come on the streams, you can watch the videos, you can say, I use acceptance, you can say, I know all about acceptance, you can say, I've read every book on acceptance, right? But if you never prove to yourself that you can sit with high intense thoughts, high intense feelings, all this good stuff, and not go the worry route, and that will lead to peace. If you've never proved that to yourself, every single time you've got high anxiety, panic, negative, intrusive thoughts, you're going to head for the door. And you're going to continue to head for the door because you don't know that peace is waiting for you. And when I say peace, I mean these symptoms, thoughts, and feelings gradually starting to get less and less. Maybe not disappearing completely if you're sensitized, right? That'll happen in time, though. But if you never prove to yourself that being with these intense thoughts and feelings will lead to peace, as long as you don't get involved with the worry, what Dr. Claire Weeks called second fear, if you never prove that to yourself, you're always going to head for the door. You're always going to use a compulsion. You're always going to use a coping method. And you're always going to be convinced that you're in some sort of danger. You're always going to be convinced that you're in some sort of danger. You're always going to be convinced that anxiety is a bad thing that you must do something about. You're always going to be convinced that you can't find peace unless you figure out these thoughts. Spoiler alert, you'll never be able to figure out these thoughts, right? They just loophole after loophole, right? So absolutely crucial that we get you some experience points under your belt. You have to get some experience points under your belt. You have to, at some point or another, have one of those days where the thoughts and the feelings are just slamming, right? And you're able to stay with them and stick with them without doing so much worry. Notice I say so much because you don't have to be perfect, but we got to catch it, right? You got to have these feelings and be able to stay with them. Stay with them. You got to have these thoughts and be able to stay with them without going the worry route. And the moment that you notice that you do go the worry route, you got to put a stop to that. You got to put a stop to these rabbit holes. You got to pull yourself out of the rabbit hole. How? By arguing with the thoughts, trying to figure them out? No. That'll just take you deeper. How? By realizing that you're doing the worry. That's the first step. You got to realize it. So you call yourself out on it. Okay, I'm adding the worry to these thoughts and feelings. There I go. What did Wonder Bros say? I got to be with the thoughts and feelings without the worry. Okay, so I realize that I'm doing the worry, number one. Number two, I give myself a little accepting reminder. That's what we call it around here. So something, for example, might be the worry's not going to help me here, or thinking's not going to help me here. We've got a ton of them here. Some sort of little accepting reminder to ground you, bring you back to reality. Then we're just with the feelings. Then we're just with the thoughts, but we're not adding the worry, okay? Now, we might slip up and go back to that very quickly, but we catch it again. We catch it again, right? And this is the practice. This is the practice, and it's so crucial that you eventually get to the point that you realize that if I sit with or be with these intense feelings and these intense thoughts long enough, and I call myself out on not going the worry route, if I do this long enough, if I'm with these feelings and thoughts long enough without adding the worry, I will find peace. And you will. And by peace, I mean these symptoms start to fade. These thoughts start to fade. They get easier to deal with. Maybe not 100% overnight, right? That's to be expected if you're sensitized. But by peace, I mean you'll start to realize that this was all self-inflicted. You were making it so much worse than it had to be. Anxiety, quote-unquote, disorders and panic and all these intrusive thoughts, it's just one big dumpster fire that you keep pouring gas on, okay? It's one big dumpster fire that you keep pouring gas on, and people spend years trying to find the solution. They don't realize the solution is to stop the worry that you're doing. To try to find the solution is to sit around and worry is the root problem, right? Worry equals anxiety. We can't say that enough around here. Worry equals anxiety. Do you know that when I say worry equals anxiety, I'm not just saying that because it's a cool sounding catchphrase. I'm saying that because literally when you get up in your head, aka your prefrontal cortex, if you want to get technical, and you start to do the worry, which is just a bunch of negative self-talk, literally when you do that, There is direct wiring from your prefrontal cortex to your amygdala, the part of your brain responsible for anxiety. There's direct wiring when you do worry that sets it off, right? So when I say worry equals anxiety, I'm not saying it because it's a cool catchphrase. I'm not saying it because it sounds hip, my guy. I'm saying it because literally worry equals anxiety. Literally, you are setting off the amygdala, right? Right? That's why I'm saying it. And that's why everything we talk about here, okay, the two main keys: live your life, stop fighting with the thoughts and feelings. When we say stop fighting with the thoughts and feelings, we mean cut the worry, right? Everything that we talk about here as far as recovery is concerned, Dr. Claire Weeks' acceptance, everything comes down to be with the thoughts and feelings, live your life, cut the worry. Try to cut the worry. Work on cutting the worry. Practice on cutting the worry. Worry just means second fear. Second fear just means worry, right? So let's say you get a negative intrusive thought that says, I might go crazy. What's one little accepting reminder that you can use? What's the opposite of worry? Okay, you could say, okay, so what? If I go crazy, I go crazy, right? Let's say you get an intense anxiety symptom. What's the opposite of worry? You could say, okay, I want it even more, right? Now that's more of the aggressive approach. Or you can be more neutral. You can be more chill. You get a negative intrusive thought, you say, okay, I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to worry about that. It is what it is. You get an intense anxiety symptom, you simply remind yourself, just going to stay out of the worry and experience this, right? You can go the more aggressive approach. You can go the more chill approach. I don't care. But do you see how at the end of the day, this all comes back to the same thing, the same concept at the end of the day, the same root problem at the end of the day? Worry equals anxiety. You're continuing to set off your amygdala with your prefrontal cortex. So it's a cycle of strong anxiety symptoms and thoughts leads to worry, sets off the amygdala, leads to strong anxiety symptoms and thoughts, and you go round and round and round and round in a circle until we have what's called sensitized nerves, right? And then unfortunately, for most people that don't know really about acceptance, they get the sensitized nerves. Having a sensitized nervous system makes things, seem even more intense. So what do? More worry. Nerves don't get a chance to take a break. More symptoms, more thoughts. More worry. Nerves don't get a chance to take a break. More symptoms, more thoughts. You see how this is starting to resemble a hamster wheel? And this hamster wheel has one big fat label on it called worry, right? Dr. Claire Weeks used the term second fear, but I'm trying to make it more modern and more understandable. So I say worry, same thing, right? But do you see how this is just one big hamster wheel with the big fat label of worry on it, right? Strong symptoms, strong thoughts leads to worry. The worry then leads to more strong symptoms and thoughts because the worry sets off the amygdala. Around and round we go, right? So the point of this stream, the one thing that you must absolutely prove to yourself during this journey is that, yes, you can be with intense anxiety symptoms and thoughts. And if you don't go the worry route by calling yourself out on it, and practicing cutting that worry, just little accepting reminders, cut the worry, right? Cut the worry, just be with the experience. If you prove to yourself that you can do that, and it's going to heal, and it starts to make everything feel a little bit better, and you start to see what we're talking about here, if you prove that to yourself, you're going to gain more confidence, right? You are going to gain more confidence, and you're going to be more willing to do it again in the future and repeat it, and those nerves are going to love the break that they're getting. They're absolutely going to adore and love the break that they're getting, and this is how healing happens. Everything we talk about here, even though we've worded it a million different ways, it's fun to word it a million different ways. People learn differently, right? But everything we've talked about, the two main keys: stop fighting with the thoughts and feelings, live your life. Fighting with the thoughts and feelings happens up here. It all comes back to dropping the worry, to get off the hamster wheel. If not, it's just, one more time, strong feelings, strong thoughts. You start worrying. Worry sets off the amygdala. Strong feelings, strong thoughts. You start worrying again. Worry sets off the amygdala. Strong feelings, strong thoughts. You start worrying again because of the strong feelings and strong thoughts. Worry sets off the amygdala. Strong feelings. Do you see what we're getting here? Somebody in chat says, my fear now is fear of having the feelings. So, where is that born? And that's everybody's fear, by the way, at the end of the day. Where is that born? Up here. You're afraid to have the feelings because they're so intense, and they only seem more intense when you add the worry, because the worry sets off the amygdala. Round and round we go, right? So all your little, triggers, all your triggers, your fears, all these little things that your mind's trying to convince you, oh, you'll never recover, these feelings are so bad, all these little mind games, right? Drop all that and understand one thing. If we can get you to be with these thoughts and feelings without going the worry route, you will literally cut the head off the snake. Am I saying that'll make you 100% overnight? No. But you will literally cut the head off the snake. This is just a snake eating its own tail, and at some point you got to cut the head off. What does the head consist of? Worry. You cut that off. You practice that. I say practice because I know you're not going to be perfect at it. I don't expect you to be. But you cut the worry out by calling yourself out on it when you start to do it. There I go again. I'm doing it. I know that worry equals anxiety, so I'm going to just practice being with these thoughts and feelings without doing so much worry. Practice. You start doing that. You just practice. You don't have to be perfect, but you just practice that. And you will start to cut the cycle literally in half, right? I understand, right, when some people come to me and they say, yeah, but it's just so intense I can't seem to stop worrying. I understand that. But the next time you get a chance to practice, simply remind yourself in the moment, not only is this worry not going to do anything for me, but worry equals anxiety, so why should I do it? If you give yourself that realization in the moment, why should I do this, right? You might be more likely not to. We've got to get you practicing this because, like I said, everything we've ever talked about here comes down to this. Worry is second fear is worry. So we've got to get you practicing this, and if we can get you on board with this and get you really dedicated to trying to do this, and again, I know you're not going to be perfect, but if we can get you on board with trying to do this and scoring some experience points, you are literally going to start breaking out of the cycle, right? So that was the point of today's stream, right? So again, for those of you who are joining us late, the title of the stream is You Need to Prove This to Yourself. What is it that you need to prove to yourself? You need to prove that you can be with intense feelings, intense thoughts, but if you stay out of it and don't add so much worry, practice that, this will lead to peace, right? This is the practice. This is the goal. So if you guys enjoyed this stream, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. I think that was pretty good. We're going to head on over to the post stream, read some comments. See what chat is up to tonight. See what you people are up to tonight. Let's get some music going, and then we'll read some chat. So get some music going. Very helpful though, guys. Very helpful if you remind yourself, especially in the heat of the moment when all reason tends to go out the window. If you remind yourself in the heat of the moment how pointless the worry is and how the worry equals anxiety, you might be more or less likely to go down those routes, right? You might be more or less likely to do that if you can remind yourself of the facts. Let's get some music in here. There we go. Wait, that's really low on your end. Why is it so low on your guys' end? Let's crank it up a little bit. Okay, is that a good volume? Can everybody hear the music? It's not too loud, not too low. Would you say that meditation is a coping method? No, because it's essentially the same thing as what we're talking about here. I just don't use the term meditation, right? Meditation means to be aware of your thoughts and feelings. You accept them, but you're focused somewhere else in reality, right? That's the whole concept of meditation. What does meditation aim to do? It aims to take you out of adding the worry. Whether you meditate or not, you're still going to get thoughts, right? That's a common misconception. I meditate so I won't get thoughts, and then people sit there really, really hard. They strain so hard the veins in their forehead start to fucking bust. But it's because they're going at it the wrong way. Meditation's not about never having another thought again. It's about being in the moment. Thoughts come, feelings come, but you're not attaching. You're not adding the worry. So I don't use the term meditation because sensitized people, they just overthink the crap out of that term. But it's essentially all the same thing at the end of the day. We're cutting the worry, right? We're using accepting reminders. We're leaving the thoughts and feelings alone, not attaching so much worry. So essentially more or less the same thing at the end of the day, but it's, we don't use the term meditation. It gets really overthought and just confusing, and people seem to confuse it with all sorts of crazy stuff. So what's up, Christopher? Welcome to the stream, dude. I've been practicing Wonder Bros since your last live, the odd strange feelings. Keep it up, Sherry, keep it up. Proud of you. Did you come up with a name for Sir Bunny? No, not yet. We need to. Now, I will say this. Thoughts and feelings tend to slow down after you practice cutting out the worry as much, right? They tend to slow down, right? But to think that you come into this and will never experience another thought again is just absurd. You will. But whether or not it turns into a big deal, right, depends on how much worry and attachment you add to it. And then, of course, once the nerves heal, these things that you think are such a big deal now won't be such a big deal, like, at all. So there's also that to consider. But all humans will have thoughts, whether they do this or whether they do that. But once we get those nerves healed, it won't be a big deal to you. And, of course, they'll slow down. They won't come as often, and symptoms, of course, go away and all that good stuff. But we're not worried about that right now. We're not worried in general, right? We're cutting out the worry. What's up, Sad Boy? Welcome to the stream, dude. Thank you, my friend, for what you do. Absolutely, man. Glad you enjoy it. The name of the bunny should be Claire after Dr. Weeks. That is not a bad idea. In fact, I think we're going to do that. That is a good one. That's a winner right there. So, big bunny here. Claire. Terry. Oh, thank God. I almost I almost covered up your whole tip with the bunny. Claire got in the way there for a second. Terry, man, with the $50 tip. Thank you so much, Terry, dude. I appreciate you. Holy shit. Taking us to a 79-day streak all by himself. Show some love to Terry in the chat, man. I appreciate you, dude. Thank you, man. I know you've been hella busy at work recently. I hope you're able to relax. What, Bunny? Did you miss it? Or is the stream just a little behind? I know the chats are a little behind. Thank you, Terry. I appreciate you, dude. Show Terry some love in the chat, guys. There we go. Now we're caught up. With chat. Show Terry, yes, show Cherry Terry all the love, man. I hope that nickname doesn't catch on. I'm so sorry if that nickname catches on, Terry. I'm so sorry. My deepest condolences. Hey, you're the man, Terry. Such a good guy. I appreciate you. Finally got the day off. Enjoy it, man. You earned it. You earned it. What's the story behind the bunny? So the story behind the bunny, and before we move on, one last shout out to Terry. Thank you so much, dude. I love you, man. I love you. 79-day streak. You're the best. So the story of this guy right here is, I believe it was on yesterday's stream. If it wasn't yesterday's stream, it was the day before. But anyway, story behind this guy is that anytime someone in chat goes down a rabbit hole, aka starts to worry over their thoughts and feelings and starts to get way too analytical and deep and trying to problem solve, and anytime we see someone either getting ready to go in the rabbit hole of worry or currently in the rabbit hole of worry, because there's a difference between asking a legitimate question and being in the rabbit hole, right? Anytime we spot that, we're going to throw Claire here. That's what we named her just now. We're going to throw Claire here up on the screen. That way we can block out chat and focus on pulling this person out of the rabbit hole. We're going to give all of our attention to them, right? And try to get them out of the rabbit hole and correct them. And then once that's done, Claire will go back into, where do bunnies live? A hole in the ground? I don't know. Claire will go back home, and yeah, there we go. That's the story. I think it'll be good, right? Not only will it help the person that's down the rabbit hole, but it's gonna help. It's gonna help a lot of people be able to spot that worry rabbit hole when it happens. Oh, I thought you got a rabbit or something? I did. I got Claire. What do you mean? What do you mean you thought I got a rabbit? Look, I did get a rabbit. Right here. Right here. What are you talking about? Are you trying to say Claire's not real? You're going to hurt Claire's feelings. One thing I notice is when I'm not having any physical symptoms, my mind is so much more clear. But as soon as I get the pit in my stomach, I notice that's when the mental chatter starts. You can call it mental chatter. We call it worry, right? So intrusive thoughts are one thing, but let me clear up just a little bit on your message. So, you say, as soon as I get the pit in my stomach, I notice that's when the mental chatter starts. So let me correct that a little bit. As soon as I get the pit in my stomach, that's when I start to worry, right? So you say when there's no physical symptoms, my mind's clear. Of course it is, because you're not worried. There's nothing to be worried about. But as soon as you start to get some symptoms, you start to log into the worry. This is what we need to catch and shut down by using some accepting reminders. I notice when I'm worrying, I remind myself the worry's futile. I remind myself that thinking's not going to help me here. I remind myself that worry equals anxiety. And you know what? If these feelings want to stay, they can. Right? Right? And you say all the I shouldn't be feeling this because I wasn't before. Yeah, that's all worry. All worry. And we know that worry sets off the amygdala. So you got to catch that shit when it happens. You got to catch it. Ground yourself with some accepting reminders. That's what we call them here, right? And work on putting the brakes on that worry. Intrusive thoughts are one thing, but that worry is in your hands. And then some people might say, well, I don't know the difference between an intrusive thought or worry. Doesn't matter. If you're up in your head with a bunch of negativity, use an accepting reminder, right? That'll help put the brakes on any worry. That'll gradually help to start putting the brakes on any worry. We know that worry sets off the amygdala, right? So I hope that helps you there, Joseph. I've heard about that, Kate. But I'm pretty sure that's who got all the Claire Weeks videos removed off YouTube. So I'm not really sure if she would be game to be on a podcast. Let's see. It's been months since Isaac came back. It's like me a thunder. Fuck, I'm a bit discouraged. So obviously a bit of a language barrier there. You need to ask yourself how much worry you've been doing recently. You guys are going to get so sick of hearing the word worry. But you got to understand, no matter what you're going through that's anxiety related, that's going to be your main culprit. That's going to be your main culprit every single time. Every single time. Yeah, okay. I mean, don't quote me on that. Obviously, that's not 100% like fact or anything, but that's what I heard. I forget where I heard that, but somebody mentioned that to me. So, I don't know. That might not be true at all. Like, that's a possibility. That's just a bunch of dumb shit that I heard, but somebody did tell me that at some point. I can't remember who. If that is true, that's super lame and greedy. But if it's not true, then the person who told me is a dum-dum. Yeah, so I'm glad you said that, Joseph, because you said, my mind's clear when I don't have symptoms. Well, of course, because you're not worried. There's nothing to worry about. But as soon as symptoms start, you say your mind starts to get, well, you start to worry, right? You start to worry. So I'm glad you made that comment, because it was a perfect example to kind of throw out to everybody else. Yeah, I'm not sure, Riley. Like I said, I don't know if any of what I heard was even true, and again, I don't even know if they said exactly who it was, but I'm pretty sure I heard the word niece dropped, but I don't know. I don't know. Could be true. Could not be true. I really have no idea. Well, we're allowed to talk about the wonderful and late Dr. Claire Weeks as much as we want to. We're not on here showing her book on stream or something, showing her books. We're allowed to discuss it though as much as we want to. And of course, like Riley just said, at the end of the day, everything we talk about here is just kind of carrying that on, but in a new way. With a more modern spin on it. I use completely different terms, completely different wording, and I've really just put my own spin on things, but it's all the same root, at the end of the day. The quote unquote initial trauma for most people when it comes to becoming sensitized, and probably a bunch of people in the chat that can agree with this. I know it's true for me. The quote unquote initial trauma for a person who ends up sensitized, usually a panic attack. Usually a panic attack, like a first panic attack, or just a very strong panic attack that leads to a rabbit hole of nonstop worry, which then sets off the amygdala and then gives you more thoughts and symptoms, and then you do more worry, continue setting, and blah, 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 blah. We keep going and keep going. You kind of see what we're getting at. Wouldn't be a good stream without a spam bot. Regardless of what kind of got you down the rabbit hole and got you sensitized, the main culprit's the worry, right? That's what continues it, right? Regardless of what started it, that's what's going to continue it. That's what's going to keep you in the cycle. So we need to work on that. You don't have to be perfect. Like I keep saying, you don't have to be perfect, but we need to work on that. So regardless of what got you in it, this is how you get out of it. I've had people ask me that before. Wonder Bro, why don't you talk about what starts the cycle? And then, well, because regardless of what started it, whether it was a trauma or you had a strong panic attack or whatever threw you down the rabbit hole, irrelevant to us now, because the worry is what keeps it going. The worry is what keeps it alive. Claire Weeks called this all second fear, so. No, I agree with you. There's a lot of overcomplication out there. There's definitely a lot of overcomplication out there. I can't deny that statement. It's not really like a day that there's a bunch of bells and whistles style alert. It's more of a gradual process. It's more of a gradual process than it is just a day where you're like, Oh, bells and whistles. I mean, there might come a day for you where you kind of realize, hey, I've been feeling better recently, right? But it's not really just one day. Hey, I think that's awesome of you, Sherry. Hey, that's awesome, Riley. Congrats on your recovery. Can you talk about worrying versus problem solving? I want to move to another city, whole process, apartment job, etc. How not to worry or add more fuel to the fire with an anxiety disorder. So, funny you asked that question because I just posted something recently on some of my social media about worry versus problem solving. So I'll just pull that up and read that to you because we summed it up pretty well over there. So I said, do not confuse worry for being productive or proactive because it's anything but. Worry and problem solving are two totally different things. Problem solving involves using your intelligence to address something that is relevant in reality or happening now. Worry is a useless activity that lacks problem solving and is more focused in one direction. Negative, negative, negative. Or you could say worry is fighting ghosts, fighting with thoughts that may never be a reality. So worry is to fight with what if thoughts because they may never be a reality. You're not going to find a solution to those. Okay, that's worry. Worry is to be predominantly negative. That's worry, right? Problem solving involves using your intelligence to make a decision right now, an action right now, based on something right now, right? Right? So, problem solving, or what we could say creative thinking, is to use your intelligence to take care of something that's relevant right now. Worry is negative. Worry is focused in that one direction, negative. Worry is trying to fight with what if thoughts that may never even happen anyway, right? So you can start to see the difference between the two there. What up? You want to fight me? Of course, Ghost. Always. How you doing tonight, Ghost? Ghosty boy. Sanchez. Not gonna lie to you, chat. Not gonna lie to you. Probably gonna crash here in just a minute or two. Very long day. Very, very work-filled day. Been trying to get a lot done. So probably gonna crash in a few. Gonna hang out with chat just for a little bit longer though. Made a lot of progress around here though. Absolutely, Riley, and it should be. It should be. That is the way it should be. Hey, keep it up, Sky. Keep it up. That's the practice. All right, chap. Whew. I used what little bit of energy I had left for this stream, but I think it was a good one, man. I think it was a good one. I'm happy with it. I'm happy with it. Make sure you leave a thumbs up, guys. I'm going to go ahead and crash out for the night. Glad I could be here to squeeze this one in. Good one, man. So, again, thank you guys for being here. I truly appreciate every single one of you. Like we always say, you know, I hope you enjoyed the stream, but most importantly, I hope you use it. So, enjoy it, guys. I love you. We're going to go ahead and get out of here, man. Thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you very, very soon. Until next time, as always, stay awesome.
Crew, and we up in our growlings when people change, but not us. And we just chillin', kicking it, kissed by the sun. Could be soaked to the skin in the mall soon. I know she got